Okay, here we are. Thanksgiving Day football, man. Great day for football. The weather was incredible. Coach Goodheart, you remember 2 years ago, Thanksgiving Day game? I mean, it was so cold that game. I know Westerly, Barville was two schools that they didn't even use their cleats. They used their running shoes because the ground was that hot a couple of years ago. Beautiful
Yeah,
today.
I remember that game on top. We were at West Warwick, and on top of that hill over there by the Valley Country Club or whatever, it was so cold. It had to be 30 degrees maybe, but the wind was blowing like 15 to 20 miles an hour the whole time. Our kicker kicked an extra point, and the ball went through the uprights, and the wind was blowing so hard it flew back like 7 to 10 yards. So the wind was absolutely blowing. So that kind of weather and that kind of wind, it made it miserable.
And I look like during that game, you look up in the stands and you see some of these high school kids with no shirts on, and the atmosphere, especially these Thanksgiving Day games. A school like yours, West Warwick, Coventry, East Providence, LaSalle rivalry, like Westerly, Stonington. These things go back so long, it becomes part of the family.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head because there's some of those crazy kids. They wear damn shorts year round, and I just can't believe how they do that. Because I know I'm from Maine, but I get cold, man. Like I can't do that. Plus,
No,
I'm not.
I always got a hoodie on.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I'm not a big man, so like I get cold. Those bigger guys, they have no problems wearing going shorts year round. I can't do it.
Salute to Stanley Dunbar getting a win over Stonington, 28-14. You worked with Stanley. You went out of your way to say a lot of nice things about Coach Dunbar. But this is his first actual complete season. Last season, you really don't count that. Um, Good coach, doing good things for Westerly. What do you think about your former head coach?
I when you go to a program like Westerly that is like so far beyond established, they've they've built a winning tradition. They are literally the epitome of a football community. And we got a coach like Stan who goes in there to replace who I thought was a really good defensive minded coach. Um, I think Stan is going to take that program, and the sky's the limit for them. They got football players. They got a established feeder program in the youth, and the Stan's an offensive minded dude. He's got what it looks like to be a good coaching staff, and he's got a good group of kids coming back next year. Stan's going to do a good job, and he's always going to continue to do a good job.
Zach Tuck, of course, was a bull today. Tough to stop. Lance Williams, I know he needed one touchdown to break the school record and two touchdowns to hold the actual title for the most touchdowns in the season. So yeah, Stanley is definitely getting it done over there. Speaking of coach, I seen Coach Miranda today, Ryan McCormick. A lot of people were at that game. Very very busy game. I'm sure your game, the fans come out, in droves for that Coventry West Warwick rivalry.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. This was the most fans I've ever seen at a Coventry High School football game today. It was 2018. We had a pretty good group of fans, but there was not even close to what we had today. I don't want to project and say how many fans there were, but there was not a seat in the stands either side, and there was fans, 2 and 3 deep on most of the fence line. It was pretty incredible to see that many people come out on Thanksgiving Day to support both sides.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you talk about rivalries like Coventry, West Warwick, Stonington, Westerly. It goes deep generations through their family, and that's part of the Thanksgiving Day tradition. And that's what sucked for last season. That the senior class from last year, they don't they get left out of them family conversations now because you have grandfather, uncle, cousin that, and I know Stonington, Wesley, and I'm sure Woonsocket. I mean, I'm sure Coventry, West Warwick's the same thing. Towns are so close together. You have families that live in both communities. So for these kids not to play last season, it was great to see them on the field today in front of packed houses. Beautiful day.
I mean, we got kids on our team that are brothers with kids on the West Warwick team, and we got kids that grew up playing with them in youth all the way up now. They're playing against each other in high school. So after the game, regardless of what goes on the field, the camaraderie that you can see after the game, you really appreciate that. The fact you see a West Warwick kid holding a Coventry jersey and vice versa, a Coventry kid holding a West Warwick jersey and taking pictures together because they care about each other. It's war on the field, but It's just a game really at the end of the day. So when you see the camaraderie between all the kids, even after the game, and the chippiness before and during, it's really good to see, because we got a kid who his brother plays for West Warwick, and we got young kids. Their families split up, and their family, they're going to have brothers that are playing for West Warwick next year and the year after that, and they're going to be playing against each other. But at the end of the day, there's still going to be that camaraderie.
Oh yeah, to let you know your live stream's still playing. I went to tune in to NFHS, and I seen the field was still the
Yeah,
live stream was still on for NFHS. So
we just talked about that too. We really
yes,
did you notice the field? Did you see how it was painted?
I seen the see. Yeah, I seen that towards the end zones, right?
Yeah, we got one in the end zone, one at the center, and one in the other end zone, and we actually had hash marks and stuff. So it was like our field looked the better than I've ever seen it look in the history of me being around here. So it was
Well,
kind
I
of a
didn't.
big deal.
The one at the middle that might have been a little one hour. I couldn't really see that one, but I noticed a lot of fields were painted this year. Westerly had the big bulldogs in theirs. Coach Blake did the turkey. You know, Saludo over there, Coach Blake, and I'm sure other schools also painted their fields as well. So might have got something started here.
Yeah, I know especially for those seniors, because they got 1 year. That's all it is. But if you can do good things for the seniors, make sure they always go out on a high note. That's really the goal, and that's what we're doing. We're trying to make sure that the seniors they had a really good looking field for their last game. So it was good for them to be excited about that and be happy when they got to finally see the field. It was pretty cool to see their eyes light up and their appreciation for it.
Another thing I noticed another program. Going back to Wesley, they actually have their own bus now. They have a Wesley Bulldog bus. Beautiful, beautiful paint job with the big bulldog on it. And I got to asking around, and I think most schools should do this with their towns and say, how did they get the bus? Right? That's a good question. Well, the bus companies, I guess, every so many years have to auction these buses off, and they really don't get nothing for them. So you work a deal out with your town, to sell us the bus, and you have, you get it painted, but it looks very, very nice, and a lot of programs should do that.
No, that would be cool to have a Coventry bus with Coventry logo and stuff like that, regardless of if it's for just sports or whatever it's for. It makes the community look a little bit better. It makes it.
No, it does look nice. That bus looks sharp out there. Do you guys have any kind of before the game? Do you guys do any kind of celebration for both teams? Do you have a special opening, or is it just pretty much?
Um, it's kind of tough to say that. You know, I'm new in Coventry, so like if I'm trying to create tradition, it's not like that simple. Trying to do some stuff before the game, and it wasn't able to happen. But the way they've done things in the past is just basically it's just like a regular football game. There's
Oh,
no
okay.
announcing and stuff like that. But for the kids and nobody else, you got to make it a big deal. And sometimes, it's harder to make things a big deal and try to make it so the kids are, having fun and want to come back, and young kids want to come out. And I don't think there's a lot of like excitement leading up to the game. Like, I'll be completely honest, like my kids were extremely motivated for this game. Um, Kudos to West Warwick's school for allowing their program to have a pep rally. We weren't allowed to have a pep rally, so that really offended my kids. And they were extremely mad about not being able to have the pep rally and not being recognized. I mean, even still, the kids haven't been recognized for what they did in the spring, so they have a lot of motivation. And not having the pep rally, I think, was one of those things that motivated them more than they needed.
The pep rallies, I don't understand why the Coventry did not allow their kids to have, like, that's just like I see what they do up here in my town, and it's just like they have a thing all day at school where the band's up and down the hallway, like, and then I mean, it's all over social media, and then they have this big presentation in the gym where last year you had the police officer chasing one of the kids in, kind of tackled them. He kind of kidnapped the school mascot. And then at night, they both meet downtown, and they're in these big farm trucks, and they're chanting both sides of the street because both sides of the street is the town line, and it's so exciting. And with Stanley Dunbar bringing in Najee Barrows, um, they love him. The pregame show was as good as the actual game. The fire department brings in the smoke machines. You got the smoke going. They got the purge music playing. A 10-foot teddy bear that the team's trying to rip apart on the field. And then Stonington comes out. They bust through their banner. You got the marching band. They're coming out. And then the football players, trying to plant their. I think their plan was to plant their flag on the bulldog, but I think they thought twice about it because they didn't do it. But Coach Blake does it. They have fireworks down there at Pilgrim, pyrotechnics. I'm not saying go do all them extra extremes, but it builds camaraderie and it brings the fans out.
That's the thing too, is of all the sporting programs across the nation, there's one sport at every school that creates the most revenue, and it's football. So if you really want to create a revenue and you really want to make sure you have a good fan base, you do those things to make people want to come and see. Unfortunately, we're not in that situation where we can have those events and do that fun stuff to get the people out yet. I'm still, yet again, like a young coach, new coach in this town or whatever, but trying to create our own tradition instead of doing what the old regimes were doing is, that's part of things too. You got to evolve, and the evolution of the program is to start new traditions.
Yeah, no, definitely. We definitely have a lot of new young blood coming in, and yeah, the old way is out. I mean, there's just the game has evolved so much. It just changed so much. It's just some of the old timers can't understand the things that need to be done, to get these kids motivated. And speaking of that, I heard Coach Camp step down over at Shea. So Shea is so their program is kind of no one knows what's going on there. Coach Mike Murray said that he might not. He don't know if he's returning to Shea, and that's actually surprising. But and Link Tiverton coach resigned.
Oh wow.
He resigned. I think Coach Russo, but he's been there for a long, long time. Salute to him, and I'm sure after a tough season that Tiverton had, I mean, I would resign too, respectfully.
I honestly like Tiverton in the spring. They were starting like nine freshmen every game. That right there, I think in the next 2 years, I think Tiverton is going to be a good program. They had tough kids. They had tough freshmen starting. And when you get thrown in the fire early like that, you only create thick skin, and those kids are going to be weathered by the time they're juniors. And that's going to be this coming season in the 2022 season. So,
Well,
I think
small towns, you can only do what you have in town. I mean, they don't let you use the PPAC program to your benefit. Football coaches are not allowed to recruit, even though like I know you guys have a regional school, but then the school needs to do more to get kids into these programs. But towns like North Smithfield, Tiverton, Exeter, West Greenwich, you can only play with who is in your town. They're not fortunate to have a big town like Coventry is. You guys have a lot of people in your town and a pretty good sized school, but some of these smaller towns like Tiverton, what do you do when
yeah, no,
you don't have the kids coming out?
you got to try to find ways to make it appealing. Like I know Coventry's a big town as far as like not only just landmass. I think Coventry is like one of the largest towns in all of America as far as sheer landmass goes. But Coventry has quite a bit of people. But Coventry also, I don't think people realize this. Coventry is the only town I've ever heard of. When you turn 65, your taxes never raise again. So Coventry is actually an elderly community. It's not like a young community. It's if you drive through Coventry, I can take you down to all the old folks communities, the 55 plus, where you're not allowed to have children. Coventry has 40,000 people, but I'm willing to bet 20 plus thousand are 55 plus. So there's no joke. There's all these trailer parks or mobile home parks with these elderly communities. So there's a lot of people, but there's not a lot of young people. That's one of the major problems here. And hopefully we can get a little bit more. And I was watching a fans only sports game where we played Cranston West, and the commentator made a comment that we had 70 kids on our team during the game, and I was like, watching this game, and we finished the season with 40 kids. So, with such a good school size, I think it'd be nice to have 70 kids. But
He said, "I wish I had 70 kids."
no joke, it'd be incredible if we had 70 kids. I mean, heck, we played Henrikin in a JV game, and we suited up 18 kids, and they had 70. They brought 3 buses of kids. It's like, holy hell, and they're just 11 new kids every drive. It's like our kids are gassed, but it's like that'd be nice to have 70 kids. But I mean, hopefully in the future we can get more kids to want to play football in Coventry, and I hope more kids in general in the whole state want to go out and play football. It's kind of one of those sports where parents are trying to protect their kids, but they don't talk about the most dangerous sport in America, which is female soccer. I don't see anybody waving flags or stopping stuff to stop the girls from playing soccer, but parents will
They
be the
ain't
first one.
messing with them girls. They're like,
Seriously, like
no,
you look,
exactly.
everybody wants to protect the boys in football, but the highest rated concussion is girls soccer. You don't see them trying to protect them. So what's the difference between boys and girls? Why are we not protecting the girls, but we're protecting the kids with helmets on and pads inside?
Well,
It's
I
one of
saw
those things.
something that what do we used to call it, like knuckleball? When we would meet at the park and play a pickup game, on Thanksgiving morning, a bunch of your friends. They actually said that's safer without pads and helmets than having pads and helmets on.
If
They,
you have a helmet on, you're more prone to lead with your head or want to use your head. If you're not wearing a helmet, like you don't want your
you're
head
gonna think
anywhere near it.
twice. Yeah,
So
exactly.
you're going to be using tackle form. You're literally going to be using every ounce of your body to make sure you're using perfect tackle execution instead of leading with your head like most people do. Obviously, no, I don't think programs teach that because I know we don't, but you still see kids do it no matter how many times you teach them the right technique. But if you like rugby, you don't hear rugby having a high concussion rate. You hear about
No,
other
you
stuff
don't.
like sprained ankles or broken legs and stuff like that, but maybe a broken nose or two. But concussions aren't really a thing in games where, especially full contact games where you don't have a helmet on.
So how was your game today? I know you guys got the victory. Now this is what Coventry has the last three. Do you
Uh,
guys have the last three?
so Coventry today actually made a lot of history in this game that I don't think people really even recognize or even know. It's
Tell us.
the very first time in history, Coventry has beaten West Warwick 3 times in a row in the entire existence of the rivalry. It's the very first time in history that a group of West Warwick seniors have never beaten Coventry, and I believe it's the largest margin of victory in Coventry history.
Yeah, so that's some good things go into the record books. A lot of records broken today around football. A lot of people don't realize this, but Rhode Island actually that LaSalle East Providence rivalry. Like I think that goes back 92 years. Well, I know Wesley Stonington goes back to 1911. But there's some great rivalries that go back, and West Warwick Coventry is one of them historic rivalries. A lot of people don't know this too, but West Warwick, I think they still hold the record for most championships.
They do. In fact, they do. They were one of those teams that I mean, I think West Warwick used to be like one of the
Yeah, for
biggest
decades, man.
biggest towns as far as like people, the amount of
It
kids
was
they
a
had in
big
the
mill
school.
town. It was a
Yeah,
big mill town. Everyone had 9, 10 kids. They had to stay warm. Coach Mazicki, he led them for a long time. Like that was a legendary, and I even think he was an NFL guy, the guy that was their coach, and it was all about football in West Warwick. I mean, so the history there is rich. It's just in the last 7 years, it's just got crippled so bad over there, and it's going to take a lot to straighten it out. But I think they're on the right road to recovery.
West Warwick is a football town too. Like Westerly is
Mhm.
like it. When I look at a school, like I look at Westerly, and if somebody asks me who I think is a real football town, Westerly would be right up there as probably like top three. Where I'm from, like Burrillville and Westerly, those are the towns and the schools and the communities that I look at and like that's football to me. That's what a football community looks like. But West Warwick is up there. That's a football town. They're synonymous with winning football championships and being good at football and having great football athletes and talent and coaches. So I understand the last few years they've been a little bit down, but you know I think everybody can see that they have a very young team, and in the future they're going to be very good.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I told Coach Dunbar the other day, as much as I wish that they advanced, I said I think coming out of that St. Ray's game, I was not mad at that. The way that them kids played, the way that coaching staff came up with them plans. Like I was like, you know what? I'm not mad at that when I watch that people St. Ray's trounce on teams all season.
No, I mean there was a great game plan, and every once in a while somebody else has got a couple more dogs, and obviously sometimes flags fly, and there's all kinds of little things that are uncontrollable. There's so many things in the game where it's just like it's out of your control, and those flags flying, there's nothing you can do about it except just bear with it and deal with it, try to move on, have that short-term memory. But in that game, I think Coach Dunbar and his staff, they had a great game plan. But at the end of the day, St. Ray's just had a couple more dogs in that game and a couple of unnecessary flags. No matter what anybody wants to say,
Yeah,
flag,
no, there was flags were flying.
flags start flying and the game changes. You know what I mean?
I
And
gotta say, the game today, I really didn't see a lot of aggressive flags. And salute to the official that's retiring today. I heard this was his 600 game
that's
that he
incredible.
officiated. And salute to him. Yeah, he officiated his last game
What's that?
today.
60 years of refing?
It's gotta be, huh? Like that's a long
Jeez,
time. Six
dumb.
hundred games. I mean, unless doing a lot of games, but yeah, 600 certified games. So yeah, good luck to him. And I think we got a new president of officiating coming in, so hopefully there can be some great changes. A lot of good things happening in Coventry. A lot of teams. Everyone's excited to already get back. What does Coach Dunbar say? Rinse, wash, repeat. He said we're ready to get back to it again.
Yeah, no, I think everybody was really happy in general because with so many uncertainties, we got to play this season. So we got to finish the season out. Every team, I'm hoping every team finished healthy, um, especially on a day like today. Today's supposed to be like such a positive day. It's Thanksgiving. There's all the great food and enjoying time with family and all those things. So as long as everybody came out healthy and can still go enjoy that meal, that's all that really matters at the end of the day.
Yeah, Drake Gary Goodheart, man. Good luck. I'd be happy if the season started tomorrow. I'm like, I'm ready.
you know,
But I know some of you coaches need a little, a little break.
it's me and the coach has been talking about it for quite a while now. It's like after Stan left, they brought us in December 13th, and they named me the head coach or the interim head coach or whatever. And 2 days later, we started doing our virtual meetings, and we practice happened shortly after that. We'd go right through the spring till May 9th or 8th, whatever the hell the day was, and then we were off for a month, and then we were back into practice. So it was like we literally got like a month off of football, right back into football. So finishing the way we did today, that 48-7 victory, it was finishing that way, especially for those seniors, like as good as that felt, winning that game and the historical stuff. Also, it'd be nice to have a little bit of time off and have a little vacation from football for a little bit, and then come back into it, full strength.
There you go, Coach Gary Goodheart, man. We'll definitely talk soon. Good luck to all the Oakers, man. I'm looking forward to see which ones go where for as far as college. I know you got some real smart kids over there in Coventry. Spot some pretty good grade point averages, and I'm sure you've been talking to a lot of different recruiting networks.
Yeah, it's been a little bit exciting for those kids. Coventry, I'm not sure we've really been looked at as a school to recruit at, but with the intelligence we have as far as scholastically, I don't want to say football intelligence yet, but scholastically we got a lot of intelligence, and we got some pretty good athletes. So hopefully the kids get the opportunities that they deserve.
That's right. Mike Green, administrator over there at West Warwick, said, "Congrats, coach." Mike Green, big fan of the show. So he said, "Congratulations, Coach Goodhart, on your victory today." And I'm sure that was tough for him to say. I
Thank
mean,
you.
being a West Warwick visit.
What was that? I'm sorry.
He said that congratulations, and I said it must have been tough for him as being a West Warwick, visit administrator, just to say that, good luck, because there's such a strong rivalry there. I know I would have a problem, but Coach Green is such a football fan. he knows what it takes to get it done. But he
Yeah,
said congratulations.
no, I appreciate that. That's great on him. I think at the end of the day, when there's respect between everybody, and everybody can appreciate what's going on. It's like we didn't really throw the ball except 3 or 4 times, and we weren't trying to run it up. Just we executed, and as can't really tell the kids to stop executing. So I think at the end of the day, West Warwick, they didn't stop fighting, Coventry didn't stop fighting, and it was a battle regardless of what the score was. It was just an epic battle, and I'm just proud of the kids and proud of everything that happened today.
Mr. Green was there actually as a color commentary for 105.5. He was actually did his debut thing on the radio today. But no, and I talked to Coach Pennington a couple weeks ago about how he felt about that. And he said, absolutely. I put my kids on the field. They put their kids on the field. I asked him about the Westerly game. The score was kind of, how do you feel about that? And Coach Pennington said, I put my guys on the field. He puts his guys on the field. My kids, if they can't stop it, then, we have to do better. Then they deserve the score. So, I'm sure he don't feel that way. But thank you, Coach. Coventry, West Warwick, can't wait for that game next season. And I know if you want to rewatch that game, as soon as Coach Goodheart calls up and tells them people to shut the stream off, you can rewatch the live stream on NFHS. That's a new program you guys have now, right?
Yes, we got that in the spring. Yep.
So definitely, if you want to watch the Coventry game, you can watch that all season. I like NFHS. Fans Only Sports has a lot of good games. Also, West Warwick High School has their own YouTube page, their own media department, so you can go there and check out all their home games as well. But Coach Goodheart, Coventry Oakers, good luck.
Thank you. Hey, happy Thanksgiving, and thanks again, Mike, for all the stuff you do for the state, the football all around. Everybody appreciates it. I know they do, even if they don't speak up. I will.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. Talk to you soon.
Take it easy.
Coach Gary Goodheart doing his thing. Look, I got the background, the Christmas thing. Yep, so I was Coventry Oakers coach. Talked a lot about the kids' grade point averages. Some kids are looking to go to college. I know Nick Kopp, Santilli, some of the guys want to be soldiers over there. So great day of football, huh, Coach? I heard the place was packed over there. So a lot of kids, a lot of families came out. Westerly was very, very packed. I seen the Central High School, one of their assistant coaches, Coach Kaleo, over there. Mike, I seen Coach Steve Storr. He was over there as well. Shout out to Coach Steve Storr, won a championship with Cranston West at one time. I know Steve still wishes he was coaching. So yeah, definitely was a great day. Coach Green said yes, it was definitely packed, and it's good to see it packed. I remember our last Thanksgiving Day game, how cold that game was. A lot of the programs, their kids couldn't even wear. They had to wear their street sneakers because the cleats just was not gripping in the field. But it was very, very what a game it was. Coach Green, you like that Hendricken game, huh? What a score. That was another game. You could see that game. LaSalle beats East Providence, which everybody pretty much expected. But you see East Providence give Central a game a couple weeks ago. I think it was like what, 7-6 or 14-7. East Providence gives them a game. They play LaSalle, and we know LaSalle has some great players. They have definitely definitely the better quarterback in the state. They have some great wide receivers. Great day for football. Shout out to Coach Green. We're gonna get him up here too and talk, some history. I like to get them history lessons. Hear about how it was. Hear about some of them great programs. And you heard Coach Goodhouse say, there was a time where West Warwick, was legendary in Rhode Island football, and I'm sure they will get there again. It's just going to take some time. Some great kids this year. Coach Pennington goes over there, plants his flag, meets the town, meets the community, and now they have a better way to game plan and know how to go forward. And West Warwick had a tough schedule. They had a real tough schedule. Well, they played Tolman coming out the gate. They had St. Ray's in the beginning of their schedule. I think they had they played some beasts. And then the second half of their schedule, they got to finish it at Westerly. Like, they played Mount Pleasant. They played a lot of tough teams. So West Warwick will be in the playoffs next season for sure. Coming up soon, we're gonna have Coach Cliff Fortin, EWG, the first time a six seed goes to the Super Bowl. He had a game today against Narragansett, and some people was not happy that Coach Fortin said we're not going to play our starters. We have a Super Bowl we have to play in another week. We're going to play a lot of our young kids, give them reps, let them start to enjoy the Thanksgiving Day game. People say, "Oh, but the Thanksgiving Day game shouldn't it be for the seniors?" Yes, very young team for sure. But you got some great players, man. DeAndre Chase, what a running back. Richard Medeiros, what a tough quarterback you guys have. And Louis Rossi, another name that you're going to be hearing coming down the pike over there in West Warwick. So they're definitely going to put things together. And I even talked to a couple of the fans out there and the parents, and they really like what West Pennington is doing over there at that program. But I'm so surprised at how Coventry, their administration, I don't understand what the problem is, but why do they give their program such a hard time on having some of these things? Do you guys have pep rallies over there, Coach Green? I'm wondering if they have pep rallies because I know up here, and I hate to keep going back to my program, but I know here they have a whole festival of things that they do. They have